So I was really surprised with the meta build on X.Borg right now. But before that, this game was insane. The enemies were so strong, maybe you even know them. That Johnson, I know he's also a YouTuber, and the Beatrix was top 3 global with over 700 stars. They were teamed up with Alucard, so basically they were a trio, plus their other 2 teammates were a duo. Meanwhile, on our side, we only had 2 duos, and I was the only solo. From that alone, you can already see how unfair it was. And not only that, just take a look at the rank of all my enemies here. Now compare it to the rank of my teammates. Remember, I only have a little over 100 stars, and you can clearly see how huge the rank difference is. Even if you add up all 5 of our stars, it still wouldn't match the stars of Beatrix alone. And to think they were playing as a trio and a duo, it just shows how unfair the matchmaking was. On top of that, they were using their main heroes while I was just trying out this new skin for X.Borg. So, of course, you'd expect us to get crushed in this game, especially since we were also at a disadvantage in hero composition. We were really behind in all aspects, but I'm always excited to go up against strong opponents. If only my teammates could keep up, but they just couldn't. Especially when the weak spot in your team is your gold lane, because just look at how this Moskov plays and the kind of decisions he makes. Though the enemy also had a weak spot, which was their R-lot, the gold laner matters more, especially in the late game. Heroes in the gold lane get more gold and can build items much faster. He already left his lane, didn't really do anything useful at the top lane, and even ended up dying. You could clearly see Johnson on the map, yet he still recalled there. That's exactly why I didn't recall in that spot. Having the right mindset and awareness is really important when you're playing. Alucard is really strong right now. His damage is insane. It's just that I rushed warrior boots and dreadnought armor, that's why he couldn't kill me there. And then here, I didn't expect Johnson to target me, though I'm always ready whenever that happens. Lauren was also a huge help here since her ultimate was so on point. I wasn't able to heal, but still, thanks to her photo or flask of the Oasis. It's just a shame that the enemies can't be punished, just like the corrupt politicians in our country. In this game, I still didn't know about the meta build for X.Borg, so I was using the old build. But even if I did know, I wouldn't go for it since we didn't have a front line. My teammates were using an assassin jungler and a support roamer, and that's one of the trash combos I really hate. Especially with a Johnson on the enemy team, you really need a front line. That's why I went for defense items here, with War Axe as my only damage item. And since the enemy team didn't have a mage, I built full physical defense. Even though Johnson was building magic damage, I knew he wasn't enough to burst me down, and I could sustain his damage without needing magic defense items. Also, their ban was super specific. They banned every hero that could counter Johnson, like Diggy, Kadita, Glue, and Grok. That's why whenever I see that kind of ban pattern, I can immediately tell it's them. Because you know exactly which heroes they're afraid of. You know they don't want to be countered. Would you believe it if I said that Alucard went for a full burst damage build here? And still, just look at Harley. Alucard looks like he's only being tickled. Well, it's pretty common as a solo player to end up carrying all 4 of your teammates on your back. This game also proves that playing solo is way more difficult compared to trio or even 5-man. Because here I am in solo queue, and yet I end up facing a trio. So what's the difference? They get to play together in the same lobby while I'm all alone, and we still get matched against each other. Funny, right? Here I'll go a bit deeper, but every time Johnson crashes into me, I don't die. And that's really our window to punish the enemy. Like here, the trade was totally worth it because I killed Kaja. We both used our flickers. Beatrix killed me, but she'll die too, and her flicker gets burned as well. 3 of the enemies went down, and here comes the superhero Moskov to completely turn things around. Or maybe not. How many times did the enemies overextend? But it was still not enough to win the game. And I really noticed the difference between RG players and pro players. It's not just about skills, mechanics, or chemistry, but the most important thing is discipline in the game. The enemies here dove under turrets so many times, we managed to kill them, but it still wasn't enough. But yeah, the difference in discipline is so clear, especially with PH Pro players. And to think that someone still asked me if I could become a pro player, bro, they're on a completely different league. They eat and breathe ML. When they sleep, they dream about ML, assuming they even sleep. But stupid mistakes like the ones Harley and Moskov made this entire game are things you can avoid even if you're not a pro player, if they only use their brains. But yeah, it's fun. It feels good to see my dumb teammates get crushed, but of course it's not fun to actually lose the game because of them. Though to be fair, the enemies were really strong too. I didn't expect to face such high-ranked players in this match. I did put up a fight, but still, it wasn't enough. I even made a mistake at the end. I could have pulled the minions away from the turret, but I already knew we were losing anyway. It would have just dragged the game for another 10 seconds. 10 more seconds of suffering for me. And we'd still lose in the end. Anyways, what I really didn't expect to become a meta build for X.Borg is this Rapid Boots and Sky Piercer combo. A lot of players are building this now, even on other heroes, probably because of the movement speed. Back then, Rapid Boots were useless, but now they feel like the best option, especially if the enemy doesn't have much CC and you're active in rotating to other lanes. Our draft here is better compared to the previous game because this time we had a utility jungler, since the roamer was already support. So even though both of our junglers in these games had low IQ, this one was better because at some point he could actually tank the enemy's damage. My emblem in this game was Fighter Emblem, with Thrill, Festival of Blood, and Impure Rage. For my full build, just check the match result. Pause it there if you really want to know. If not, then don't. What matters is once you stack up Sky Piercer, X.Borg's damage becomes insanely solid. And I love it, since I prefer using damage EXP laners rather than sustain or tank ones. It's hard to carry teammates if you don't have damage. You'll just have to be lucky if your teammates are good. But even if it's just the gold laner who's dumb, if you have no damage, it's hopeless. Like here, my teammate just let Changi push, so I was the only one left to defend. You really can't kill her if you don't have enough damage on X.Borg, but good thing I did. So I managed to take her down, and at least we wouldn't have that annoying pusher for more than 30 seconds. And usually, X.Borg is useless without his Faraga armor. But here, I was still able to kill enemies. You can really see the help from the movement speed X.Borg's items give. I managed to dodge Beatrix's grenades there, and she ended up dying instead. So yeah, we still won this game. This kind of build is really more enjoyable, especially when you get your Sky Piercer stacks early. But the next update is coming soon, so who knows which heroes will become meta after that. But you know what? I already have an idea. These meta EXP laners like Uranus will become even stronger if my knowledge is right about the defense item adjustments. But let's see. I could have gotten a Savage here if I didn't use Flicker trying to save Alice. What a shame. With X.Borg's ultimate, the damage is weaker if it's the enemy who bursts your Faraga armor before you manually or automatically explode it. That's why it's also important to press it right away before the enemy bursts it down. And if you're the enemy, you should always try to burst his Faraga armor when he ults so the damage won't hurt as much. This item build is crazy, stacked with movement speed, plus it even has a slow effect. On top of that, it's got attack items, magic, and defense all in one. The real Trinity build. So shout out to all the members of this channel. Thank you so much for the support. There are quite a lot of you now, I really appreciate it. But even if you're not a member, I appreciate you for watching this video and reaching this point. I hope you enjoyed and learned a lot. And if you haven't subscribed yet, make sure to hit that subscribe button.